Welcome to the Brave Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Lynn, founder of Sistership Circle and author of Open Your Heart and The Art of Leading Circle. I'm the mother of 2 girls, an 8 on the Enneagram, aka the Challenger, happily married to my business partner, Brent, love connecting with nature, and have put in well over 10,000 hours circling with other women. On this podcast, we will explore how to embody the brave woman so that you can take action on your dreams and desires, unapologetically speak your truth, and live life on your own terms. Grab a seat and a cup of tea, and let's get started. Welcome to my solo cast today. While this isn't going to go live for a couple weeks, what I want to talk about today is very much in the collective consciousness of the women at Sistership Circle in 2 different programs. And I feel like no matter whether this is published tomorrow or a month from now or a year from now, it's relevant to the path of circle leadership, feminine leadership, visionary leadership, being a woman in business, trying to create something with this work that we do, this work to empower women, to support the healing of people on the planet. And that is taking action. You know, being a brave woman is not just about the integration of our feminine that we've been disconnected from. It's not just about the remembering of the sacred feminine. It is this integration of the masculine and feminine. And in that integration, especially those who are visionaries and want to create a business, the masculine is so important. And so when I look at my healing journey, and I actually look at my whole journey of getting into personal development, you know, it all started with the masculine. And where I started back in 2005 was landmark education. And that personal development work is extremely masculine. But one of my biggest takeaways was, how do you get your project off the ground? And all the training that I got from Landmark, I was able to apply to Sistership Circle to not only get it off the ground, but create an international organization to impact thousands and thousands of lives. If it wasn't for that training at Landmark, I would not be where I am today. It wasn't until 2013, so almost 10 years later, that I did the deep dive into the feminine, that I descended into the sacred feminine. But as I did that and I let go of everything, and I was very much in the swirl of the feminine, and it was all about my healing those years, there was a point in which I said, I have to get off the healing train. And that's when I did the deepest mother-father healing work. That is now the work that I teach in the Feminine Freedom Method. And that program really is the place where we get to get off of the healing train. And once I got off the healing train, I was then able to integrate the masculine and feminine. And then I met Brent. And because of that integration within myself, Brent and I then mirrored that externally. He then got to step in and really hold the masculine in the business while I was more in the feminine. But there was also this synergy where we were able to move forward together and co-create Sistership Circle. It wasn't just me, but I wasn't able to fully call him in until I was ready to integrate the masculine and feminine. So what do I mean first by getting off the healing train? Because what I've noticed from my own journey is that I will always be healing. There really is no end to the learning, the growth, right? But the way in which I look at healing now is differently. I'm not on the healing train as a way of escaping life. I'm not on the healing train as a way to avoid taking action in my life. There was a point when I just had to shut everything down and do the healing work. But what I see is that a lot of people keep bouncing from program to program to avoid doing the work externally out there in the world to build. So there's this wounded healer archetype. And the wounded healer archetype is very much still in the struggle of being wounded. And so therefore is not able to actually fully move forward into their dharma, into their purpose work. And so a lot of people who are kind of stuck on the healing train are bouncing back and forth, constantly reinventing themselves, but unable to make any traction. And so it's like they want to come into How to Lead Circle, for example, for yet another program to work on themselves without actually taking the action. That's not what we're up to here. Because what I believe is when we are on the court, when we are playing the game, that's when we really get to face ourselves. When we're just on cruise control on the healing train, and we're not actually taking action in our lives, we're kind of, there's something missing in that. And we're not actually getting the real world experience that actually creates the wisdom. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom is experiential. Wisdom happens from experience. So, there's two different things here that I want to talk about. The first one is in How to Lead Circle for the next 2 weeks, the task at hand, the goal is that every woman starts their first circle before they end the program. Now, if they end up doing their circle the week after, great. But by getting on the court, by playing the game called Sistership Circle Day, because that's what we call it, and creating that first circle, that's where you're getting the biggest growth. Because if you're just sitting there on the healing train, I just need a little bit more time. I just need a little bit more sitting in circle here. Guess what? You need to get out of the inertia of sitting on that healing train, and you need to get out there and explore. So the exploring by getting on the court and putting your circle out there and inviting people and then actually running that circle, that's where you get the real growth. So one of the reasons why that happens is because as you are intentionally putting something out there into the world, the universe is then going to give you all the things that you need to grow. And so obstacles come up, your biggest fears come up, your limited beliefs come up, right? And because those limited beliefs are coming up, they manifest as external things that aren't going well. And then what do people say? Oh, it's too hard. This just isn't meant to be. No, that's not what's going on. What's going on is that the world, the external, is showing you the real work for you to do. And the real work is identifying the limited belief that's blocking you, externally showing up as a circumstance or an obstacle. And by doing the inner work and releasing that limited belief, taking action despite that limited belief, you are then reprogramming your subconscious. You are reprogramming your nervous system. And you're training yourself then to move through the block. But if you get stopped and you're saying, oh, well, I can't do this because so-and-so just said no to me, you're never actually going to get to the place where you want to get, right? If you came into the program because you want to lead a circle and then 1 or 2 or 3 no's has you give up, you're never actually going to taste the fruit of the seed that you planted. It's the whole journey, right? The whole journey is important. I call this the initiation. The initiation is part of the hero's journey. And we could also say it's part of the heroine's journey as well. But the initiation is the trials and tribulations that come up when you set your eyes and then you start walking on the quest towards your destination. It's not always just about the destination. The destination is important. That's the fruit, right? But it's you planted the seed, you're then sowing the seed and you're watering the seed and you're giving it light, right? Like you're doing all the things. And then a storm comes and you still want to tend to that seed, right? And so when you get to the destination, it's like the whole journey is important, but also the destination. You get to actually enjoy all of the work that you did. So there's that initiation that's happening from the moment you say, yes, I want to lead a circle, to then actually being at that circle and leading it. And afterwards, right? All of that leading up to the actual circle is the initiation. So whatever project that you're taking on, whatever game you're playing, you're going to go through initiation. You're going to have to face the stuff that you have been saying to yourself. You're going to have to face the stuff that's been blocking you before. This is actually where the real healing happens, is in action. So at Sistership Circle, essentially, we've created these levels. And if you think about it, it's like a video game. Every level of the video game at the end is a harder monster to slay, right? They increase in difficulty. Same thing with Sistership Circle. The very first level, level 1, is starting that very first sister gathering. The very first one that we say you do monthly, right? That's an initiation. Level 1, think of it like a video game. You're going through the things all the way to the final challenge. That final challenge is that final push. Maybe it's that final conversation to actually get the women to show up at the circle and then lead them. The next level, level 2, is you're doing these monthly gatherings and then you're creating a circle program. This is more challenging to get 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 women to commit for a 4, 6, 8 12-week program. They're paying more. They're committing for a longer time. There's more required of you. There's going to be bigger dragons to slay during level 2. So your initiation becomes harder. Then level 3 is you add on coaching as part of your packaging. You add on a retreat as part of your packaging. You have a second higher level program that you're offering, right? So you've added on. Again, level 3, it's harder now to ask for more money, to ask people to commit for a longer period, right? So it becomes more challenging. We have a whole new set of obstacles that come up as part of the initiation to that third level. Then we say level 4 is that you're actually going to teach people how to do what you do. You become a trainer, right? You're now training others to do what you do. So whether that's you're training them to now take your signature circle program and bring it to another city, or you're a how to lead circle trainer teaching women how to start their first gathering, right? Again, what's required of you is more. You've got to be at a next level. The initiation into trainer, you're going to have a whole new set of limited beliefs come up, right? Whole new set of challenges that are going to come up. So each one of these initiations is where the real work happens. But if you're sitting there saying, I'm not ready because I still have this XYZ healing to do, you're not getting the full, like you're not really getting it. It's actually in taking the action and being on the court and playing the game that you're going to get better, not by waiting. I think about my pregnancy. There's no way I am ready to have that baby. The only thing that's telling me that I'm ready to have that baby is the fact that there is a growing fetus inside of my womb. I planted that seed with my partner, right? And then what happens is as the belly gets bigger, I'm finding myself up in the middle of the night. I'm starting to slow down. My body is naturally preparing me for when that baby comes. Now, no one told me what to do when that baby comes, but I'm going to figure it out when I get there. And the pregnancy is part of the initiation, right? My body is changing. I have to change, right? I can't continue to do the same exercise. I'm not sleeping the same way as I was, right? Something's happening internally as I'm going through those 9 months. And then baby comes. And I have no idea what to do, but every single day that the baby's here, I learn a little bit more. Why? Because I'm playing the game. I'm on the court. I'm doing the thing. I remember that moment during the when I was giving birth, and I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, no, just take me to the hospital and cut me open, or like, let's just have the baby just stay there, right? No, the baby's got to come out. So that piece of actually giving birth is an initiation in and of itself, because you got to dig deep inside of yourself to find the strength to overcome those limited beliefs that you can't do it. And they say every woman hits that wall. And what are you going to do when you face the wall? You can't, there's no way through except to surrender. You must surrender. You must keep pushing, keep breathing, keep opening in order for the baby to come out. And if you say no, you're going to have a C-section. They're going to cut you open anyway. So you might as well surrender to the process here. And it's hard. It's challenging. And this is what's so beautiful about childbirth, is that we actually get to experience ourselves as powerful, as able to do it, as able to give birth. Wow. So if I can do that, I can do anything. And that's really the mentality that we need to have when it comes to these initiations into creating the circle gathering, creating the circle program, whatever project it is. There is a moment when you hit the wall and you say, I can't do this. Whether that's because external circumstances are blocking you, or, your people aren't saying yes, but maybe you're just not having enough conversations. Maybe your internal belief system is actually what's creating the external circumstances to get in your way. It's amazing the amount of reasons why women say that they can't do it. This circumstance comes up. I'm too busy with this. This person who I'm taking care of got sick. I mean, every possible reason in the book, I've heard it. But the truth of the matter is that there's an internal belief that's blocking you. Because no matter what's going on out there in the world, you can still create this circle. There's a part of you, though, that doesn't believe that you can, doesn't believe that you're ready. You are ready. You are ready. You're as ready as you are when you're about to give birth. We're never really ready for the baby. We don't really know what's coming, right? Same thing with leading a circle. You really don't know what's going to happen in that circle. So you have to trust. You have to surrender. And you just have to put one foot in front of the other and take action. So what has had me personally be able to continually take action in my life, consistently put programs out there, fill them, keep building this business for over a decade? 3 things. Number 1, I set a goal. I set a SMART goal. What's a SMART goal? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. What does that mean? That means that I get very, very clear about what it is that I want to create. So if I'm about to start my first circle gathering, my monthly circle gathering, what I would do is I would get clear on 2 things, actually 3 things, 3 numbers: the actual date, the number of women, and how much I'm going to charge. Those 3 things. Now, this is where everyone gets tripped up. And this is why so many women struggle to take action, because they swirl with these 3 things. They're afraid of charging, number 1, right? Number 2 is they get swirly with these numbers of, oh, I want to call in 8 to 10 women. No, you're going to pick one number. You're going to pick one number. The universe needs clarity. One number. Pick 8, pick 9, pick 10. I don't care. And a date. Well, I don't know my venue yet. Well, what if I have something else come up? You pick a date. I'm doing it on Saturday, June 30th. Now, you go. The universe knows that you're clear, knows that you're committed. The universe is going to support you. So what happens? You go to a venue. The venue says, oh, well, we're not available Saturday the 30th, but we are available Sunday, July 1st. Great. Because you had that clarity, because you were able to be specific with that venue, the universe delivered it. It just looked a little differently. And that's the thing. We have to trust the process. It's like we could get super clear, but we can't be attached to the outcome. We're just committed to the thing happening. There's a difference between that attachment and the commitment. So now I'm focused on 10 women at $20 each. 10 women at $20 each. I'm going to write down 20 names. And now I'm going to message each of those women, and I'm going to make this heartfelt invitation for them to come to this women's circle. Notice I didn't say I'm going to go post on social media and just hope and pray that someone's going to see it. No, I'm getting very intentional. I'm listing out the names. And then every time I have a conversation, I'm going to ask them to invite people. Again, I am just focused on 10 people. I don't know where they're going to come from. I don't know who they are. But I started with 20 names, hoping that maybe I'll get 5 to say yes. And maybe those 5 will each bring a friend. And all of a sudden, I've got those 10 women. Now, a few of them said, I can't afford the $20, but I can give you 10. Great. Again, I'm committed, but I'm not attached to the outcome. So it looked a little bit differently at the end. I ended up doing it on July 1st. I ended up having those 10 women. I didn't know all of them, but because I was in action, having the conversations, those women then invited friends and I was able to fill it. And instead of making $200, I made $150 because a few of them, 5 of them, asked for if they could only pay $10. But I'm happy because I did the thing. I got on the court, I took action, and the result was pretty awesome for my first one. You see how this works? So that SMART goal keeps me laser focused. This is the masculine. The masculine is like an arrow shooting at the bullseye. This is why I work with Artemis. This is actually why I do archery, is to practice that focus, practice the consistency of taking action. And every time I'm checking my body, I'm checking my position, and that laser focus to get the bullseye. So my second thing is that I have a vision. That vision is a bigger why. It's the thing that motivates and inspires me to go out there and take the action. So why am I doing this? I have a vision of creating this sisterhood where these women can be real and authentic. And that instead of talking about the weather or shopping, I have women who I can have authentic conversations with in this community. And that now there's this really cool place where I don't feel like I'm alone. So I keep holding in my heart this vision of having this community of women for myself. Now that's okay to have a vision that's just for you, right? It doesn't have to be this awe-inspiring, changing the world, although it is changing the world, because having women be real and authentic with each other and developing real and authentic sisterhood is definitely going to change the world because it's just going to ripple out, right? But I keep holding that vision of that deep desire that I have for that sacred sisterhood. And that inspires me. And I share that with the women. And they're like, yes, I want that too. And that's what had them not only say yes, but invite their friends. And then number 3 is how I'm working with the fear, because the fear comes up. And I'm telling you, even after doing this for over a decade, I still have fear come up around asking people, around whether or not they're going to show up, around whether or not I'm going to do a good job, right? I still have fear. So if you think that you're immune to fear, you're wrong. I just led a girls' circle for Callie's 3rd grade class. Talk about an initiation. All of my old childhood stuff came up. I was crying with Callie almost every night that week leading up to the circle. I really didn't think that I could do it. I had a splitting headache that day. I was sobbing, bawling my eyes out the morning of, right? Like it was intense. And all I wanted to do was to quit. So, first thing I did is I got my sistering, my scaffolding. Sistering is putting, two pieces of wood together, sistering a joint to make a structure stronger. So I was co-leading that girls' circle with Rose, one of our facilitators. So guess who was messaging me that day? That kept lifting my spirit and encouraging me. This is going to be so much fun. That's all we got to do. We just got to have it be fun. We just got to play with them. Trust me, I've been doing this. The mom circle was much harder than the girl circle. So I had that sister support. That helped me work through the fear. Second thing is that I have to keep working with the limited beliefs that come up around, I can't do this, right? And that is what creates the fear, this fear of being a disappointment, this fear of failing, this fear of even being a success. So it's like, I feel that fear. I allow it to be there. And then I remind myself of who I am and my capability. And I have to find that place. So it's like I feel the fear in my body, but I also find that place of power. And I connect with that feeling. And that feeling overrides the fear every time. I've got this. And I have to tell myself that. I've got this. I've got this. I've got this. I can do this. I am capable. And so I work with my own affirmations, right? To help me break free from the grip that fear can have. So I was saying that we have two different programs that were working with us. The other one is Mastery. And in Mastery, this program, it's like these women are in action around like getting into the next level of serving their programs, right? And doing an actual launch, which brings up so much because there's so much more visibility that goes with that, right? And so again, it's like, I can sit in the circle and keep talking about it. And I could stay on the healing train and just look out the window. Or at the next stop, I could decide to get off and start looking around and start having conversations and explore. My healing is going to continue. But I'm no longer just sitting as a passenger watching. I'm actually in the action. So the last thing that I want to say is that we take programs and we want to be clear on why we're taking programs. Because this is the other thing. I don't want to take another program. I want to take action. And so when you are looking at programs to take, you want to look at three things. Number one, is it holding you accountable to get into action? Is it actually supporting you to take action? Number two, is it helping you to actually increase a skill? Right? Something that you've been wanting to develop, not as a way of avoiding doing the work, but of enhancing the work that you're already doing. And then number three, is it giving you access to a new frequency, a new energetic key so that you can level up in your initiation? Those are the three things that I look for when I'm going to take a program or look for a coach, right? It's like, how is this going to be scaffolding to help me to get to my next level? Because we're always in these initiations and we need help. We need support, right? In order to level up, in order to move through that initiation. We don't need to do that alone. So how to lead circle, that's why we've designed it the way we've designed it, is to actually help you move through that initiation to start that circle gathering. and it's giving you the energetic keys, right? The next level of frequency. It's also giving you the new skills, right? So that you feel like, yes, I've got this, right? So that's what I've got today. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next Brave Woman podcast.
You just listened to this show. I'd love for you to leave the Brave Woman podcast an honest review. Reviews help podcasts like this one grow, making it more possible for me to devote my time, energy, and money to its production. If you take a screenshot of your review and email it to support@sistershipcircle.com, we'll send you one of our archetype activations as a thank you gift. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.
Up next, curious about the power of MDMA in psychedelic assisted therapy? Journalist and author Rachel Newer is on deck to share with us her latest research on this party drug turned healing medicine.